Did you know that more than half of adults over 60 are walking around right now with tiny, visible notches carved into their teeth, right where the tooth meets the gum? And every single day, without you even realizing it, those grooves are silently getting deeper. Most people assume it's just a normal part of aging. But what nobody tells you is that your daily habits might actually be accelerating the damage. You brush carefully, you buy expensive, sensitive toothpaste, and yet, one sip of cold water still sends a sharp, electric shock straight to your jaw. What if the very routine you use to protect your teeth is actually leaving them defenseless? There is a science-backed way to support your tooth's natural mineral defenses, helping to calm that sharp sensitivity so you can finally drink a glass of ice water without wincing in pain. In this video, we are ranking the most popular natural remedies for tooth notches, from the least effective to the absolute strongest. The number one solution is something you can easily do at home, but almost everyone is using it completely wrong. You know the feeling. You take a sip of iced tea, or maybe you just breathe in a gust of cold winter air, and out of nowhere, a sharp electric shock shoots right through your jaw. You go to the mirror, pull your lip down, and there they are. Tiny V-shaped wedges carved right into the neck of your teeth, sitting perfectly at the gum line. If you are over 60, you are definitely not alone. But what most people don't realize is that these notches are not just normal wear and tear that you have to live with. As we age, the protective landscape of our mouth changes. Gums naturally recede, exposing the root of the tooth. Unlike the top of your tooth, which is covered in rock-hard enamel, the root is only protected by a very thin, fragile layer called cementum. When that sensitivity hits, most of us do exactly what we're supposed to do. We buy expensive sensitive toothpaste, switch to an ultra-soft brush, or visit the dentist for a composite filling. While those steps are helpful and sometimes necessary, they often act like a Band-Aid over a much deeper biological issue. They treat the symptom, but they don't change the environment inside your mouth. So, what is the real root cause? It is a silent daily process called demineralization. Every day, bacteria and acidic foods soften your exposed tooth roots. Usually, your saliva acts as a built-in mineral bath, neutralizing acid and patching up microdamage. But as we get older, especially if we take blood pressure or allergy medications, our saliva flow decreases dramatically. Without that liquid protection, the tooth surface becomes soft and porous. Then simple brushing, or nighttime teeth grinding, slowly carves that weakened tooth into a deeper notch. Before we go further, please remember that this video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you have severe throbbing pain that keeps you awake, always consult your dentist immediately. The good news is that your teeth still have the capacity to harden and protect themselves if you give them the right materials. Today, we are ranking the most popular remedies for tooth notches, from the internet fads that barely work to a highly effective protocol that can help calm that sensitivity and support your tooth's natural defenses. Let's start with number 6. Let's start with remedy number 6. Coconut oil pulling. If you have spent any time looking up natural dental health online, you have probably seen someone recommending this. The internet often claims that if you swish coconut oil in your mouth for 20 minutes every morning, it will miraculously whiten your teeth, heal your gums, and pull harmful toxins right out of your body. But when we look closely at the actual science, especially for adults over 60 dealing with deepening tooth notches, the reality is much more modest. Here is what is actually true. Coconut oil contains a compound called lauric acid, which does have genuine, mild antibacterial properties. Some limited studies suggest that regular oil pulling can help reduce certain harmful oral bacteria and maintain a slightly cleaner baseline in your mouth. But here is what most people do not realize, and this is where it becomes a critical issue for your tooth notches. Coconut oil cannot rebuild lost mineral structure. It does absolutely nothing to harden your softened, exposed roots or fill in those physical grooves at your gum line. Relying on oil pulling to fix a tooth notch is like mopping your kitchen floor while the roof is still leaking above you. You are managing the daily mess, but you are completely ignoring the structural damage. Furthermore, there is a physical risk that most wellness videos completely ignore. Many adults over 60 already deal with jaw tension, nighttime grinding habits, or TMJ sensitivity. Spending 20 minutes aggressively swishing a thick oil around your mouth every single morning can cause severe jaw fatigue and actively irritate delicate, receding gum tissue. If you already enjoy oil pulling and want to keep it in your routine, you must do it correctly to avoid doing more harm than good. Only use about 1 small tablespoon of cold-pressed, unrefined coconut oil. Swish very gently. Do not force it through your teeth aggressively. Always do this before you brush your teeth, not after. And please, always spit it into the trash can, never down the sink, or it will eventually solidify and destroy your plumbing. We give this a score of 2 out of 10. It is a very basic protective habit, but it is entirely ineffective as a targeted strategy for deepening tooth notches. Now we are getting somewhere, because while managing daily bacteria is fine, the next remedy addresses a completely different, silent physical force, a mechanical habit that is actively carving your tooth notches deeper every single night while you are fast asleep. Now we move to remedy number 5, magnesium glycinate before bed. This one targets a silent mechanical force that might be destroying your teeth while you are fast asleep. But here is what most people do not realize. Your tooth notches are not just getting worse from what you eat or how you brush. For many adults over 60, the most severe damage happens entirely in the dark. It comes down to a widespread hidden nutritional gap. Research suggests that a significant percentage of older adults do not get enough magnesium through their diet. When your magnesium levels are depleted, your muscles literally struggle to fully relax at night. Your jaw tightens, and you may begin to unconsciously clench and grind your teeth. Every single time those teeth press and slide against each other with immense pressure, those fragile, unsupported notches at your gum line can slightly fracture and deepen. Night after night, the structural damage quietly accumulates. Clinical observations and nutritional studies show that magnesium plays a crucial role in neuromuscular transmission. Supplementing with a highly absorbable form like magnesium glycinate may help support muscle relaxation, potentially calming that involuntary nighttime jaw tension and reducing the mechanical stress on your exposed tooth necks. But here is the limitation, and the reason this only ranks at number 5. Magnesium does not rebuild your lost enamel. It does not harden the softened dentin inside the notch. It simply acts as a mechanical shield, removing a major physical stressor to buy your teeth valuable time so the grooves do not worsen as quickly. If you suspect jaw tension is a factor for you, taking magnesium glycinate specifically, not magnesium oxide, which is very poorly absorbed by the body, about 45 minutes before sleep may be a helpful addition. It is widely available and generally affordable. However, you must pay attention to this warning. If you are currently taking prescription blood pressure medication, magnesium can sometimes amplify its effects, potentially causing your blood pressure to drop too low. Always have a conversation with your doctor before adding this supplement to your nightly routine. Score, 4 out of 10. It is a helpful protective measure against mechanical wear, but it is incomplete for addressing the actual mineral loss. So if magnesium only stops the grinding, how do we start defending the physical tooth surface itself? The next remedy targets something almost every conventional routine completely ignores, and it involves a biological defense system. Your mouth is probably losing right now without you even knowing it. Remedy number 4 targets a biological defense system. Your mouth is probably losing right now without you even knowing it. Xylitol gum paired with mineral-rich water. If you are over 60 and currently taking prescription medications, whether for blood pressure, allergies, or cholesterol, there is a very high chance those drugs are causing mild to severe dry mouth as a side effect. And a chronically dry mouth is an absolute disaster for your weakening tooth notches. But here is what most people do not realize. Your saliva is not just there to keep your mouth moist. It is your body's built-in, natural remineralization system. Every time you produce a healthy flow of saliva, it carries calcium and phosphate, the exact minerals your damaged tooth roots desperately need. It washes over your teeth to neutralize daily acids and supports the hardening of the tooth surface. Without sufficient saliva flow, your exposed dentin erodes significantly faster, and that notch gets deeper. This is where this specific combination comes in. Clinical research shows that chewing gum containing 100% xylitol actively stimulates saliva production. But xylitol goes one step further. Strong evidence suggests it helps reduce the specific acid-producing bacteria responsible for softening your tooth structure in the first place. Now pair that stimulated saliva flow with mineral-rich water. Instead of drinking heavily filtered or distilled water that has been stripped of all beneficial minerals, sipping on water that naturally contains calcium and magnesium gives your reactivated saliva the raw materials it needs to continuously wash over those vulnerable notches. The routine is straightforward. Chew one piece of 100% xylitol gum for about 5 minutes after your meals to clear away acid. Throughout the day, sip on mineral water consistently. However, you must pay attention to these 2 critical warnings. First, if you have a history of kidney disease, you must consult your doctor before switching to mineral-heavy water, as your kidneys may struggle to process the extra minerals. Second, xylitol is extremely toxic and often fatal to dogs. If you have pets at home, you must store xylitol products completely locked away out of their reach. Score 8 out of 10. It is a powerful, science-backed way to support your mouth's natural defense system throughout the day. But while xylitol and mineral water are fantastic for daily maintenance, what happens when you just ate an acidic meal and your tooth notches are under immediate aggressive attack? The next remedy is a simple homemade formula that acts like a rapid response team, instantly altering the dangerous environment inside your mouth. Remedy number 3, the baking soda, aloe vera, and clove oil rinse. While the previous remedies are fantastic for daily baseline maintenance, what happens when you just finished eating an acidic meal and those fragile tooth notches are under immediate attack? This simple homemade formula acts like a rapid response team. For many seniors, it outperforms expensive commercial mouthwashes sitting on pharmacy shelves right now. And once you understand the science, you will see why. Here is how it works. Every single component in this formula attacks the tooth notch problem from a completely different angle. First is baking soda. Immediately after you eat, bacterial acids drop the pH level in your mouth. When it drops too low, the minerals in your exposed tooth roots begin to physically dissolve. Baking soda acts as a powerful buffer. It rockets your pH back to a neutral, safe zone almost instantly, putting the brakes on that acid attack before it can carve deeper into your vulnerable tooth necks. Next is pure aloe vera. Some studies suggest aloe vera can help soothe irritated, inflamed gum tissue. Why does this matter for your notches? Because inflamed gums tend to recede and pull away from the tooth, progressively exposing more of the soft root area to acid and bacteria. Calming that inflammation is a critical step in protecting the tooth. Finally, clove oil completes the triad. It contains a natural compound called eugenol, which has been used in dentistry for over a century. Eugenol acts as a mild, natural local anesthetic. It can help temporarily calm that sharp, zinging sensitivity on contact, while also providing antibacterial support deep inside the microcracks where your toothbrush bristles cannot reach. Here is the exact way to use it. Mix half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of pure aloe vera juice, specifically the pure extract, not a sugary grocery store drink, and just 2 drops of clove essential oil into a few ounces of warm water. Swish the mixture in your mouth for a full 60 seconds, usually in the evening. When you spit it out, do not rinse your mouth with plain water afterward. You want those active compounds to sit on the tooth surface. But here is the problem, and the only reason this powerful remedy does not rank higher. You must prepare it fresh every single time. You cannot mix a massive batch for the week. That requires real daily discipline. Score 9 out of 10. It is highly effective for altering the acidic environment and calming sensitivity, but it requires serious daily commitment. Now, as powerful as this rinse is for protecting the outside of the tooth, it completely ignores a massive internal traffic jam happening inside your body. The next remedy targets exactly where your body is sending its minerals, and it might explain why your teeth are getting weaker, even if you faithfully take supplements every single day. Remedy number 2 targets exactly where your body is sending its minerals, vitamin K2 and D3 drops. You have probably heard a lot about vitamin D over the last decade, and many seniors faithfully take calcium supplements every single morning. But here is the frustrating reality. So many older adults take calcium for years, yet still experience worsening bone density and deepening tooth notches. Why does this happen? Because of an internal traffic jam that most people do not understand. Here is the mechanism you need to know. Vitamin D3 is essential because it helps your digestive system absorb calcium from the food you eat. But here is what most people don't realize. Without vitamin K2 that absorbed calcium has absolutely no steering wheel. It circulates freely through your bloodstream and can drift into your arteries or joints, depositing in all the wrong places, while your weakened teeth receive almost none of it. This is exactly where vitamin K2 changes the game. K2 activates a critical protein called osteocalcin. Think of osteocalcin like a precise delivery system. It helps pull the calcium out of your blood and directs it straight into hard tissues, like your bones and your teeth. By ensuring the calcium you consume actually makes it to the dental structure, this combination may help support the internal remineralization process that your hollowing tooth grooves desperately need. Research and clinical observations suggest that populations with higher K2 intake often maintain better dental and bone structure as they age. If you want to try this, the format and timing matter. A common supportive dose is vitamin D3 combined with vitamin K2 in the MK7 form. Because both of these are fat-soluble vitamins, they will not absorb properly if you take them with just a glass of water. You must take them with a meal that contains healthy fats, like an egg, some avocado, or a handful of nuts. Liquid drop formats are often preferred because they are highly bioavailable and easy for older digestive systems to process. However, you absolutely must heed this critical medical warning. If you are currently taking prescription blood thinners, particularly medications like warfarin or Coumadin, vitamin K2 directly influences your blood's clotting factors. You must never start taking vitamin K2 without explicit permission and monitoring from your doctor. Score: 8.5 out of 10. It is an incredibly powerful internal support system, but it requires daily consistency and does not provide instant surface relief. So if K2 and D3 handle the inside, how do we actively patch the fragile, exposed surface on the outside? The next and final remedy is the undisputed #1 option. It involves a compound that physically mimics your tooth structure, but almost everyone is brushing with it the wrong way. And now we arrive at remedy #1. This is the strongest, most practical option available for supporting your teeth at home. But unlike the other items on this list, this is not just a single product. It is a complete 3-part daily support system. The centerpiece of this system is Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste, combined with your daily xylitol and nighttime magnesium. Why is this the undisputed #1? Because while other remedies only manage the acid or soothe the inflammation, Nano-Hydroxyapatit actually physically mimics the structure of your teeth. Hydroxyapatite is not a synthetic chemical or an exotic plant extract. It is the exact same biological mineral that makes up roughly 97% of your tooth enamel and 70% of your underlying dentin. When you brush with the nano version of this mineral, the particles are small enough to actually fit into the microscopic gaps of your hollowing tooth notches. When applied correctly, these nanoparticles physically bond to the porous, damaged dentin at a molecular level. Your body does not reject it. It recognizes the material as its own. Clinical studies have consistently shown that daily use of Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste can significantly support surface microhardness at the gum line and may dramatically reduce dentin hypersensitivity. Many people who use this consistently report that their severe sensitivity to cold water begins to fade noticeably, allowing them to finally chew on the side of their mouth they have been avoiding for months. But here's where most people get it wrong. Using the toothpaste alone is like filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom if you do not support the rest of your mouth's environment. That is why the other two components are non-negotiable. First, you need the xylitol gum after meals. This keeps your saliva flowing and your mouth consistently alkaline. If your mouth remains acidic, those newly deposited mineral particles from your toothpaste will simply dissolve before they can fully bond. Second, you need the magnesium glycinate at night. This helps calm the jaw muscles so you do not physically grind away the newly supported tooth surface while you sleep. All three elements work together. Here is your exact daily protocol. In the morning and evening, apply a pea-sized amount of a high-quality Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste. Brands usually cost around $10 to $15 per tube. Brush your teeth gently, never aggressively, with the bristles angled at 45 degrees toward the gum line. Here is the absolute most critical rule. When you finish brushing, spit out the excess, but do not rinse your mouth with water. You must leave that microscopic mineral layer sitting on your teeth for at least 30 minutes so it has time to bond to the exposed notches. During the day, chew your xylitol gum to keep the mineral-rich saliva flowing. And 45 minutes before bed, take your magnesium glycinate to relax your jaw. Important warnings. You might notice a temporary, harmless white residue along your gum line during the first few days. This is normal mineral deposition. However, as mentioned before, always consult your doctor before taking magnesium if you are on blood pressure medication, and check with them if you have a history of kidney stones. Score: 10 out of 10. It is the most comprehensive, science-backed system for supporting your tooth structure. But having the right system is only half the battle. If you make any of the common mistakes we are about to cover, you will completely destroy the effectiveness of this entire protocol. Before you start this protocol, you need to be aware of the common mistakes that can completely sabotage your progress. Getting the right tools is only half the battle. Using them incorrectly can actually make your tooth notches worse. First and most importantly is the rinsing mistake. As we mentioned, if you rinse your mouth with plain water immediately after brushing with Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste, you are literally washing your money down the drain. The nanominerals need at least 30 minutes to sit on the tooth surface and properly bond to the weakened, porous dentin. Spit out the excess, but step away from the water glass. The second critical mistake is aggressive brushing. Many people panic when they see a notch and think that if they brush harder, they will keep it cleaner and prevent decay. In reality, aggressively scrubbing horizontally across the gum line with a medium or hard-bristled brush acts like a saw. It physically accelerates the wear on your fragile tooth roots. Always use an ultra-soft brush, angle it at 45 degrees, and use gentle, sweeping motions. The third mistake is using alcohol-based mouthwashes. These harsh commercial rinses severely dry out your mouth. By eliminating your saliva, you are destroying your body's natural mineral defense system. If your mouth is chronically dry, your exposed tooth roots remain highly vulnerable to everyday acid attacks. Next, do not set yourself up for failure with unrealistic expectations. While some people may notice the sharp sensitivity calming down relatively quickly, supporting the structural surface of your teeth is a slow, biological process. You cannot do this for 3 days and expect a permanent shield. Furthermore, while it is important to understand that certain prescription medications can cause dry mouth, you must never stop taking your prescribed blood pressure, allergy, or cholesterol medications just to save your teeth. Always talk to your healthcare provider about managing side effects safely. Finally, we must talk about when to stop home care and seek professional help. A tooth notch is an area of weakened defense. If you experience severe, throbbing tooth pain, facial swelling, or pain that wakes you up at night, do not rely on toothpaste or home remedies. This could be a deep infection reaching the nerve, and you must see a dentist immediately. Additionally, as a general rule for older adults, if you have chest pain, sudden weakness, trouble breathing, blood in your stool or urine, sudden vision loss, severe abdominal pain, confusion, or severe swelling, do not try to fix it with food or supplements. Seek medical help immediately. Now that you know exactly what to avoid, how do you put this all together into a simple routine you can actually stick to? Having all these options is great, but trying to do everything at once will only overwhelm you. You need a simple, practical implementation plan to actually see results. You do not need to use every single remedy on this list. Instead, build a routine based on consistency. Here is how to stack these solutions for the best support. Your non-negotiable daily habit should be the Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste. Use it twice a day, every single morning and evening. Use an ultra-soft brush, angle it at 45 degrees, and remember the golden rule. Spit the toothpaste out, but do not rinse with water. Let the minerals sit and do their work. To enhance your foundation, support your mouth during the day and night. Chew one piece of 100% xylitol gum for a few minutes after lunch to keep your protective saliva flowing and neutralize afternoon acid. Then about 45 minutes before you go to sleep, Take your magnesium glycinate supplement to help relax your jaw muscles and minimize the physical grinding that worsens those notches. If you want an extra layer of defense, especially if your gums are irritated or you just ate a highly acidic meal, rotate in the homemade baking soda, pure aloe vera, and clove oil rinse. You do not need to do this every day. Using it 3 to 4 evenings a week, right after your evening brushing, is enough to help buffer the acid and calm the gum line. But please manage your expectations. You cannot do this for 3 days and expect permanent results. Supporting your oral environment is a slow biological process. Here is a realistic timeline of what to expect. Within 24 to 48 hours, some people may notice small comfort changes, perhaps a slight dulling of that sharp electric shock when drinking cold water. Within 1 week, your routine consistency becomes easier, and you may notice your mouth feeling significantly less dry throughout the day. Within 2 weeks, you may notice whether this habit is actively helping, perhaps finding yourself occasionally chewing on the side of your mouth you usually avoid. Within 30 days, you can review your symptom journal and discuss any meaningful, lasting changes with your dentist. Pick one primary habit to start with and stay consistent. And remember, if you take prescription medications, especially blood pressure pills or blood thinners, or if you have any chronic medical condition, always talk to your doctor before adding new supplements to your routine. Before we finish, I want you to understand something very important. You are not broken just because you are getting older. Your body has not forgotten how to protect itself. Tooth notches and severe sensitivity are not inevitable punishments of aging. In most cases, they are simply a sign that the environment inside your mouth has changed, and your daily routine needs an adjustment to keep up. When you stop inadvertently washing away your body's natural defense systems and start providing the right structural materials, your teeth still have the remarkable ability to support and harden themselves. This brings us to your 30-day challenge. I challenge you to choose just one foundation from this list, like switching to Nano-Hydroxyapatit toothpaste and leaving it on your teeth without rinsing, and commit to it for the next 30 days. Today, take out a piece of paper and write down your current sensitivity level on a scale from 1 to 10. Think about the side of your mouth you actively avoid chewing on. Then in 30 days, check that number again. Notice if the sharp shock of cold water has started to calm down. Notice if your mouth feels less dry in the afternoons. However, remember that if your pain is throbbing, keeps you awake, or causes swelling, do not wait 30 days. See your dentist immediately to rule out a deep infection. Please remember, this video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor before changing your diet, supplements, medication, or health routine. Your comfort matters. Your ability to enjoy your favorite foods without wincing in pain matters. Let's support your dental health, one consistent habit at a time. If you found this information helpful, please hit the like button so this video can reach more seniors who might be struggling with tooth sensitivity. Subscribe to our channel for more science-backed health routines, and let me know in the comments below. Which of these remedies are you going to try first? See you in the next video.